Hi, my name is Angela Barclay. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I am going to introduce a art lesson plan, grade level 6, middle school art 1. My lesson plan will cover the elements of art. Students will need their sketchbooks, so any kind of sketchbook like this. I know some art programs provide sketchbooks, some don't. They're going to need various writing tools, pens, pencils, paintbrushes, and other mark making tools that will be on each table. I will also hand out a copy of the poem, I Ate a Spicy Pepper, and other poems that I'm going to get from the English department. And a photographs of the mind worksheet, which I have an example here on the board of how I will show the students what I expect them to do. The middle school art 1 teaks that I'm going to cover will be students will demonstrate an understanding of the elements of art: line, shape, texture, color, value, form, and space. And creative expression. Students are able to communicate ideas and express thoughts and feelings through imaginative artworks using a variety of media. The 6th grade reading teaks that I'm going to cover is vocabulary development. Students will build their understanding and use of vocabulary words. In this lesson, the vocabulary words are the elements of art. Students will understand how to apply the elements of art to what they hear, think, and feel. They will create works of art inspired by poetry and their personal response to hearing and reading poems. Students will be able to identify the elements of art in other works. And those are my personal lesson objectives. A modification that I made, if students are having trouble understanding the elements of art, I'm going to make flashcards with each element with the word of the element on one side and a demonstration on the other. So for example, shape, I'll have the word shape on one side, and I will have different works that show shape, not just shapes, but works that have shape in them. Let's see, another modification that I'm going to give is an acronym. I'll give this to all the students, but I'll have an acronym: Lazy sharks can vacation from taking soup. And I've written that up here on the board. Here, I know it's hard to see, here are the elements, and here's the acronym: Lazy sharks can vacation from taking soup. Let's see, a modification for children that are advanced art students. I will give advanced drawing students the opportunity to create works that can be entered into art shows. Let's see. So to begin the lesson, I'm going to introduce the 7 elements of art. I'll explain to the students we'll be using guided imagery. I'll first read each element out loud and instruct the students to close their eyes while I read the definition of the element. Then after I've read the definition to them, they'll open their eyes and draw what they saw on a piece of paper. So for example, I'll have the students close their eyes and I'll say line. The first element of art that we're going to discuss is line. An element of art defined by a point moving in space. Line may be 2 or 3 dimensional, descriptive, implied, or abstract. Then I'll instruct the students to open their eyes and draw down the pictures that they saw in their imaginations. And this is an example. We'll have a whole page out of our sketchbooks. We'll title the page Line. And here I have various lines. I have dashed lines, curvy lines, a pointed line, an abstracted type of line. So whatever lines they saw while they heard the definition, I'll have them write it down. Then after we've done each and every element, I'll put on the overhead the actual words and then have them copy those down as well. For the next activity, I'm going to collaborate with an English teacher and get a copy of the poem and short story that the students are working on in their English class. For this activity, I've picked a poem from a 6th grade lesson that I found online. It's really cute. I ate a spicy pepper. It was really fun and really opens up the imagination. It's an example of an exaggeration, so it's really, like I said, opens the imagination. For this part of the lesson, we're going to use the graphic organizer, Paragraphs of the Mind. So I'll read the chosen poem one stanza at a time. The students will then illustrate the images that come to their mind while listening to the words. I'll pause briefly after each stanza to give them time to finish their illustration. So I'm going to read you an example, or I'll read you the poem. Let's see. All right. I ate a spicy pepper. I ate a spicy pepper from my brother on a dare. The pepper caught my head on fire and burned off all my hair. My mouth erupted lava and my tongue began to melt. My ears were shooting jets of steam. At least that's how they felt. I ricocheted around the room. I ran across the ceiling. I dove right into the freezer to relieve the burning feeling. I drank 1,000 soda pops and chewed a ton of ice. I tried to stop the scorching of the spicy pepper spice. At last, the flames extinguished. I admitted to my brother, that pepper was the best one yet. May I please have another? I just thought that was so cute and it would be so fun to write. So, for example, on the first stanza, I ate a spicy pepper from the brother on a dare. The pepper caught my head on fire and burned off all my hair. So students, maybe I'll demonstrate to them, how a little flaming fire and have, a little head. I don't know, fire coming out of the mouth. It doesn't have to be anything perfect. And we'll do that for each stanza. There are 5 stanzas in that poem. And then once we're done with that, I am going to have students break off into groups. And then each group is going to pick a poem. I'm going to have a list of poems that I'm going to get from the English department that they're working on in class at that time. And each group is going to pick a poem, and they're going to sit down and they're going to use Sketch to Stretch. And they're going to use their sketchbooks, and they're going to have one person read the poem, and then everybody's going to sketch what they get, what pictures come to mind while that poem is being read. After each group has had about 10 or 15 minutes to read and do their Sketch to Stretch, each group is going to introduce to the class their poem and pick a couple, maybe 1 or 2, depending on the amount of time that we have, sketches that they want to show. I'm sorry, my dog is barking. Let's see. That they are going to want to use. And then I'll have the rest of the class critique and find different elements of art in each sketch that is presented to the class. And then at the end of class, we are going to have our quiz, which I have 7 questions in my quiz, 1 question about each element. And that concludes my lesson. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.